the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hey, Ernie Johnson here, and I'm joined by Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports. And tonight our broadcast will be shifting to Minneapolis, where we'll see the Timberwolves going up against the Brooklyn Nets. For Brooklyn, they come in off the loss to Milwaukee. Things have definitely been looking up for them lately during this midseason stretch. I think pieces are really falling into place for them at this stage. And Kenny, we have lots to talk about. One thing coming up on the horizon, the trade deadline. Front offices have had time to evaluate rosters. What are your feelings about blockbuster in-season trades?
Huge deals are rare in the season, Ernie. You know,
huge
deals. You know, but typically they come in the offseason because teams have time to nurture and bring them together. But there have been some great trades in midseason. So you can find new life right after the trade deadline, a la Clyde Drexler of the Houston Rockets, to get us our second championship.
Good point. New players would be slow to acclimate. But, Ernie, I think at times you risk disrupting chemistry.
Sometimes worth the risk and sometimes not.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like a nut and sometimes I don't.
Kevin Harlan, take it away.
Traffic heading in and out of downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. The setting for our broadcast tonight. Well, we have an interconference affair lined up for you today as the Brooklyn Nets come in for this one. Hi, this is Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg, Greg Anthony, and our sideline reporter is the Hall of Famer, David Aldridge. And wouldn't you know it, our good friend KG, Kevin Garnett, has come by to say hello and join us. Kevin, great to see you.
K-Hall, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm glad you're here.
It's good to see you, man.
You ready to go?
Oh, I'm always ready. What's up?
All right. It's a single-game return to Minnesota for the Timberwolves as they'll look for a boost from their hometown crowd. And, of course, Jordan Crawford. Team moving on here without him.
And, Kevin, he was an important player for him, I think more than people give him credit for. And that's not to say the trade was a mistake, but this is a guy they'll miss.
We are nearly ready for the tip-off, but first, let's hear from our very own David Aldridge. DA, it's all yours.
Thank you, Kevin. Now, Jimmy Butler survived a tough upbringing in Tomball, Texas. He said, that's all anybody ever wanted to talk about. But I don't want that to define me. If I'm stuck in the past, then I won't get any better. I won't change. I'll get stuck as that kid. That's not who I am. I'm a great basketball player because of my work. Guys?
Thanks, David. You can tell Butler has a good head on his shoulders, an elite talent in this league because of the hard work he puts in. And KG, so great to see you. It takes me back. It really does.
A lot of people don't know, man. We got real original ties, man.
Back to the beginning.
95, man. My original man right here.
Here he was, man. You were a thrill a minute, I'll tell you that.
Man,
a thrill a minute.
Now look at us. 21 years later, dog. Man, can you believe
We're still
this?
standing.
We are. They haven't caught on yet. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Keep it between us.
Okay. So the Timberwolves win the tip. Kevin, we see some coaches get extremely emotional on the sideline. Others take a more even-keeled approach, more calm on the sideline. Which coaching style would you prefer to play for when you were in your prime? Did you want a coach who was animated, or did you want a coach that was just kind of settled on the sideline?
You know what? I like the coach that was settled on the sideline. You know, I like to think that great coaches are going to be able to coach you in practice, and then during the games, you know, it's about the product and what you put out on the floor. You know, coaches that have understanding, coaches that have vision, coaches that understand the game, you know, understand that it's a game of runs, you know that it's a game of momentum, and has plays for those momentums and those times, or coaches that I've always gravitated to and understood that
like Doc was kind of in between, when he little bit of emotion, but he could also have a calm demeanor on that side.
And Doc was on fire. I'm sorry. There was nothing calming about Doc.
I'm trying to cover Doc's back here.
No, shout to Doc. Doc would rip your head off if you wasn't supposed to. But you know what? You needed to play with that edge. You needed to know that if you wasn't in your spot, 1 through 15, you understood that you were supposed to be there. And it's good to play with that. I think that you don't want to be out there playing like, you know, this is no big deal. Every play is a big deal. And no play, absolutely. And you know what? that severity and you play with that importance and, you know, knowing that you're playing for the next guy. So, you know, that's important.
All fueled up and ready to go. Brought to you by Gatorade. Let's check out who's on the floor. Setting the floor for the Nets. Russell and LeVert in the backcourt. Davis is out there with Harris, and it's Fareed in at the 5 down low. Now, here is Russell. After the miss from Karl Anthony Towns, and the 3-ball is good. LeVert's got 5 now. Kevin, when you played, we all know how intense you were, how much you cared. That, to me, was the thing that you cared so much about the product, about your team, about the game. But some people have said that maybe there was a streak of you that was mean is maybe not the right word, but you were overly aggressive. But I don't know how you could have played any differently than that.
I call it dialed in.
What?
You know, I like to think that if you're trying to accomplish something, then, you know, I only know one way to
go
accomplish
at it with
something.
gusto, right?
You go at it with everything you have.
Yes.
You go to dominate it and take it over. You don't go at something lightly.
Can't walk through the park with this game,
not at all. Not at all. And this game is full of talented elites. Night in, night out, you're playing someone that can typically go for 50 easy.
So true. Kevin, growing up watching the game of basketball, who were some of your earliest influences?
My early influences in the game of basketball was Magic Johnson, obviously Michael Jordan, and then Chris Webber. Chris Webber, Malik Sealy was kind of like the younger generation of my inspiration. Yeah. St. John's was one of the destinations. Michigan was one of my college destinations. So those guys were my natural inspirations early on when I was young.
Yeah. The shot's good from Fareed.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Kevin, when you entered the draft, no player had made the jump from high school to the NBA in 20 years. And what were your emotions when your name was called number 5 overall?
Oh, man, I remember that. It was
17 years old?
17, just turning 18 at the time. I was in like a whirlwind, to be honest. A lot of people don't know it's a lot of stuff that goes up into the draft. You know, things that I wasn't aware of. You're training twice a day. You know, you're trying to get ready for the combine. You're trying to get ready for pre-draft. You got to do workouts. This is all new to me. On top of still going to high school, trying to, you know, graduate and stuff. So I figured it out. I hustled and I bustled and I juggled a bunch of different things. But once your name is called, it's almost like the culmination. It all comes together. It's a special moment for just you and your family and your loved ones and ones around you. And when my name was called, it felt like the world had stopped and everything was going very slow.
And he can't hit the second. And people may not know, KG, that you're not just a broadcaster for 2K, but you're a member of the 2K community.
Have you been keeping up with the community, man?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
Man, listen, shout out to all the 2K players out there. I'm Jizzle Lord. Y'all know what it is. I'm Jizzle Lord 5. Shout out to my OBF team. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to Dex. Shout out to Bug. Shout out to everybody out there playing.
Wow.
Right. We definitely.
Wow.
It's all good. You know, I'm OBF. I'm about the team. I'm gang. You know what it is. Jizzle Lord. Y'all holler at me. Y'all know what it is, 2K. Right.
Well, he mistimed it just a skosh. Don't think the defense really had an impact. I think he just flat out missed it.
And here are the Nets. They're on an 11-2 run. And so he earns a trip to the line. Official saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
And, you know, the athletic LeVert makes these forays to the goal and does a good job drawing fouls in the process.
First trip to the line for him here.
Two shots.
First one falls for him. Kevin, what a lot of fans don't get to see is all the work players do behind the scenes at home, before games, after games, on off days. Can you talk a little bit about that? Getting your body ready from the end of one game to play the next game. I mean, I've seen it, but you talk about it.
Yeah, the wellness starts right after you stop playing. The minute you come off the court, you're iced. You know, you got to do progressions where right after the game, you shower. Obviously, you got to get massages. You got to get some type of wellness on your legs just because you're running so much. People don't know that you have to lift weights. You know, when we was in Boston, we lift every other day. We had a strenuous strength program. Shout out to Bidu. Brian Dew, who was our strength coach up there, never let us get a day off. And if you didn't lift weights, then we find you as a players. Players find you. Because it's important for you to come in here and be strong. We need everybody to be as strong as they can be. So you have to lift. And then actually, you know, you practice. But after practice, you have to put time into your own personal game.
Right, right. So much goes into it. It's amazing. Davis against Gibson. Here's Russell, and stolen by Butler. Outside Teague. Floats it up for Wiggins. Kevin, coming out of high school, you were relatively mature for your age, as 17 turning 18, but do you ever regret not trying college and just seeing what that experience would have been like? I mean, it's such a long time ago, but you've had some chance probably to get some perspective on both sides of that story.
You know what, Kev, I look at it like the unknown is the unknown. Obviously, I've had friends that went to college. Some of my best friends went to college, and I think I've kind of lived it through them a little bit. Listen, when you have responsibility early in life,
which you did,
which I did,
yes,
and you know, so from a mature level, things that interest me are not that interesting as you get older, especially when you have to deal with a vigorous schedule of an NBA schedule. I wasn't able to, you know, be the 17, 18-year-old to chill, have, you know, lean on the parents a little bit, be able to be at home, you know, coming home through the weekends. No, I had a real life that I was responsible for, and I was growing something. I was building something. You know, I was trying to not just be a young player in our league, but a young businessman wanting to establish something for myself, my friends, my family. You can't do those things thinking like a normal 17, 18-year-old. You're taking pieces from grown men around you all the time. You're around people who need something all the time. At some point, you have to put all this together, and you have to make it work for you, and you have to put your spin on it for how it works for you and your brand. And you have to be innovative with that. You have to be creative with that. You have to have a vision.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. The shot by Butler, nobody around. No good on the three.
Just doing the job on the backboard.
They sure are. I mean, they've done a terrific job carving out space under the basket and then pursuing the ball. You know, it's one thing to box out, but you've got to pursue the ball if you're going to get rebounds. And they look strong here in the early going.
Now here's Teague, following the miss by Kenneth Fareed.
You know, this just hasn't been his quarter. I mean, he doesn't seem to be comfortable at all, particularly shooting. I mean, he knows he's struggling right now.
Russell left side. And Karl Anthony Towns pulls it down.
That's what they want. A good look from the mid-range game. Hey, but unfortunately, they came up empty.
And KG, 2 decades later, you still look the same. You don't age. You do not. Do not age.
Man, listen, I wish I could use the Beyonce. I woke up like this, but actually I woke up like this and worked out some more, and then worked out a little more to look like this.
You look terrific.
You look great too, man.
Thank you.
Man, what's the secrets, man?
I'm following you, watching your advice.
Yeah, right. You've been doing this way, man. Ken, what year is this for you, seriously?
Broadcast in the NBA, 20 years, and then 12 years with 2K.
Man, you're a beast, man. You know what I love about 2K, man? They bring the best in for the best.
You
understand, my dude? Straight
well,
up.
That's why we've got you. But Kevin, you play this game a lot, don't you? Man, especially when you were young.
Man, listen, man. 2K is it, bro. Hey, there's no other games out here. This is what it is. If you play basketball, if you online, nobody's playing nothing else. This is it.
Yeah.
2K is the cream of the crop. It's the gang. They know what it is. It's lit. They know what it is. Seriously, they ain't got to do this. They know.
And a new group out there on the floor for the Nets. And so he makes both from the line.
You know, he's a steady hand at the free throw line, showing tremendous confidence in this one.
Kevin, especially back in Minnesota, you have some Hall of Fame battles with a guy named Tim Duncan. Talk about what those games, what those matchups were like.
Timmy, man. Timmy's very crafty, man. Our battles used to be just, especially as young guys, man. Young guys trying to establish themselves in a gritty league at the time, full of some older, dominant names at the time. Michael Jordan, Elijah Malone. You know, the time where the forward position was a very, very tough position. But Timmy was one of them ones, man. Used angles very well. Was very long. had a lot of counters, very strong, and had an inner beast that people really didn't really talk about because you didn't really necessarily hear or see it. But man, I think he's one of the best, and it's not by coincidence. He's one of the ones.
And Kev, you think of the great ones. You, Kobe, I mean, Jordan. Timmy, yeah, how about him? They worked harder than anybody else, Kevin.
And what you learn is that the similarity or the parallel that you all have is our inner animal that you never speak about. You know, we're all a little off. We're all a little dark, but that's what pushes you through pain. That's what pushes you through tough moments. When someone says you can't, when someone says this is not possible, this is unreal, no one has ever done it, that's the moment you're looking for. The moment someone told Kobe that he couldn't get over 50, 60, something Jordan couldn't do, he was driven in that. And if Phil wouldn't have stopped him, he probably would have reached 100 points.
He probably would have, yeah.
You know, he did Will Chamberlain a favor. And that's just real. He was in that type of mode. We all share that passion. We all share that drive. And the ones that have that inner darkness, we all understand.
It's like a split personality, huh?
It's almost like another level.
Yeah. Here's Napier. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 7.5 points a game. And Kevin, there was such a whirlwind around your trade to the Celtics from the Timberwolves. What were your thoughts and emotions at that time?
You know what? Being in Minnesota at that time, it was very difficult for me. I didn't necessarily want to leave. I had a goal to bring the city a championship, and I felt like I could do that. Nothing worse than when you have to deal with the reality of change. I'm not the one for change, even though I do know in order to process or progress better, you have to embrace some change. So with the help of my friends from Chauncey Billups, Teron Lue, I sat and I thought through it with those guys who have been through the trade process and talking to me, getting me to understand my options. And once I understood all my options, then I just, you know, it was about what was best for me and my family.
Wow, yeah, there's a lot to consider. And the rejection by Jang.
And this is something you'd like to see more of from Jang, given his size and wingspan.
They've been sensational on the backboard to start this game.
Yeah, sensational is a really good word for it, Greg. They're tearing it up on the glass.
And Kevin, welcome to the 2K team. I didn't realize how much you love NBA 2K.
Oh, man, you know 2K is always loud, man. I'm a super fan. Man, this game is going all over the place, bro. Like, seriously, like, I'm geeked to see what's next, man. They got everything down. I'm sitting here watching all the little small intangibles that come with the game. I'm watching the game grow. I'm watching how better players are getting. I'm watching the online play, man. It's lit. It's lit. I can't wait to see this.
Minnesota calls timeout. They come in fresh off a win against the Warriors.
Just a terrific effort off the bench. Guys came in, they seemed fresh, and they all contributed.
Yeah, you need that juice, that gas coming off the pine. Always a luxury to have a deep bench. And when they can step in and play well, you're in good shape.
The Timberwolves making a switch here. Tolliver's checked in.
It's almost as if there's a lid on the hoop for him right now. He still hasn't gotten one to fall in the quarter.
Dinwiddie, good, and it's Napier with the assist that time. And the Nets lead by 13.
Well, we've seen that movie a few times, haven't we? An easy bucket in the paint.
Well, listless and lifeless at the defensive end. I mean, especially inside. They've really got to pick up that interior defense.
And once again off the mark by Minnesota.
And so far this quarter, he's been a little off on his game.
Just a touch. I mean, it seems like he's forcing shots a little bit to me, Greg. Not playing his game right now. And with every miss, the pressure intensifies.
And Kevin, you played for some great coaches, but is there any coach you would have been interested to work with that just didn't get a chance to? Say, you know, Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson.
You know, those are great coaches. I've had very, very little time with those guys.
Maybe in all-star games and things like that.
I have. But, you know, when you do all-star games, you let yourself go. You know, you open up yourself to try to, you know, be there and be present with the guys. Open up, you know, hey, what's up? What's been up with you? How's the year for y'all? Y'all playing well. We're going to beat y'all when we see y'all, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, you're very cordial. And, you know, you're not talking too much about X's and O's. But you do share perspectives. You do share, you know, philosophies. Pop is a great mind. I had a chance to sit with him a couple times. Phil's a great mind. Phil is super deep and loves the philosophy of I haven't had a lot of time with those guys. Doc Rivers, shout out to Doc, and, I know he doesn't get a lot for his philosophies, but he's very enriched with philosophies and styles and bringing teams together and trying to make sure that guys stay connected, stimulated. He would always tell us, man, never get bored with the process.
Wow, that's so intriguing. Interesting to hear. Here's Patton. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. Will it go? That doesn't go either for Rose.
Kevin, not a single point in this quarter for him. Obviously, not what they need right now. He's got to score.
It's Carroll on the wing. In the corner, Napier with it. That three off the mark. Timberwolves trail by 14. Tolliver with the bucket.
And that's the role they want for Rose, getting guys going through his passing, especially when he can find them in rhythm.
Here's Dinwiddie. 11 points for him in that last game against the Bucks in Milwaukee. Dudley, but he recovers it, fires the three, and they call over the back here. Too much contact.
Yeah, good box out, keeps him shielded off, and then draws the over-the-back call.
Discretion would have been the better part of valor there. That rebound you just got to let go instead of picking up the foul.
They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Here's Rose. He scores, and he's off the schneid with that basket. 1 for 7 on a tough night for him.
About time he got one to fall there. Before that, 6 straight misses to start this one.
Here's Napier. Here's Carroll, and he jams it with authority.
And the athleticism always been NBA caliber. Carroll showing it off there with the finish.
Timberwolves trail by 12. Jones kicks to Rose. And the pass to Tolliver. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Tolliver's got his second bucket tonight.
And you can see there the defender gets caught up on the pick.
I think he's got to be more aggressive, stronger, getting through those screens. Can't allow shooters that kind of space to pull the trigger.
Here's Dinwiddie. Shot clock at 6. Off the screen. He doesn't hit that one.
And that's the shot you want to create. They just can't get it to fall.
That's what I call an everything but. Good execution, just didn't knock it down. But you're right, they're happy with that shot.
And so it's Brooklyn with a 10-point lead, some breathing room heading into the break. They're pounding the ball inside, and that's where they've gotten their best production tonight. And don't go away. We'll be right back. And a guy who seems to improve every season, Jimmy Butler. He spoke with us about one of his biggest surprises.
It's crazy because I never thought that anybody would be preparing to guard me night in and night out. But they do. I have to learn to cope with that and still find a way to be successful on both ends of the floor. And it's a learning curve for me also, but I'm figuring it out.
And hard to doubt the dedication of Jimmy Butler. He's found a way to overcome obstacles at each important point along the way.
You know, he's a self-made player, and if Butler can stay healthy, boy, the sky's the limit.
Welcome back, folks. We'll see if we're in store for a more tightly contested quarter as we move here into the second. And from Brooklyn, guys, what jumps out to you stat-wise?
Just playing suffocating defense. That's been the difference here for them.
You know, Greg, I love watching this team get after it on defense. I mean, they play with a bit of edge and nastiness.
Setting the floor for the Nets. Jared Dudley out there with DeMarre Carroll. Then
two.
There's Allen. And it's Dinwiddie in at the 2. And that one falls for Carroll. And KG, talk about how the greats can just impose their will.
It's almost like another level.
Yeah.
When you see LeBron, what he did to Detroit in that fourth quarter, that's a blackout. You don't know what you're doing. When you see Kobe go for 81, when you see Chauncey come down on a 1, these players are blacking out. These are elite players in elite moments, taking the moment. Paul Pierce is one of the best that I've ever seen grab a moment and savor it and just put it in slow-mo, and nothing's speeding them up.
Special players.
Special players, but I get a front row seat of seeing that. Ray Allen, the same thing. Had a great composure about himself to slow himself down and hit pressure shots. Tim Duncan, same thing.
Kevin, of all the people you've faced, who is the toughest guy for you to score against? Down low, let's pick that geography. Who is the toughest to score against down there?
Listen, I know a lot of people, I've always said Rasheed Wallace, I've always said Tim Duncan. They're probably the two that brought a different level of play out of me, but shout out to Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson, I don't know if people know this, but Cliff Robinson, man. Cliff Robinson was one of the better defenders in the post. He was very strong. He was very long. He didn't go for any counters. He was very disciplined. He was well prepared because he was a veteran. The refs let him get away with a lot, touching and grabbing. He knew when to be physical in some positions. He knew to do what we call work early. He would meet you at the three-point line, and he would be fighting you, and you would post up probably like a step outside the three-point line. Like, he was really good at some of his techniques and how he was able to control the post. After Cliff left the game, I watched a lot of his tape, and I took a lot of his
no kidding.
I had to, because it was so effective against me that I was able to use it against other post players on the defensive end.
I never knew that story.
Dennis Rodman was another guy I watched a lot. Akeem Olajuwon I watched a lot, because these guys were laterally very similar to my makeup. Akeem Olajuwon was long. He was able to laterally move with you. I was laterally able to move with guards and able to laterally to slide with some of the forwards and some of the more laterally gifted power forwards. And with that, able to get my feet together, being able to block shots, challenge the rim, stuff like that. Things that, if you're going to get better at something, you got to go and reach and find the great ones that did it before you and take it, and then I was able to apply it, and I did those things.
And KG, you're retired from the game now, and you're stepping into the broadcast business a little bit now, aren't you?
Man, you see me?
You
know what? Area 21 is something that is authentic. It's me. I'm having a great time watching the games. It's really cool being a fan now. I can root for people I want to root for. I don't have to worry about preparing and who I'm a guard, and I'm getting the tea. So you know what? It's a great time. It's work. You know, it's not just you go on there and you have a bunch of fun. You know, we actually get some things done, and but we have a great time, man.
You're a natural.
Hey, Kev, listen, watching you, being around you, you know, man, the great, rest in peace to Craig, you know, Ernie, Charles, all these great influences, man, has definitely helped. Not just me, but our younger generations of broadcasters, man. It's totally, I didn't see this being my lane, but I'm having fun with it.
Doing a great job. Kevin, one of the biggest moments of your career, the 2008 championship with the Boston Celtics. Talk about the camaraderie among that group of players.
You know, Kev, I can tell right away that we had something special getting together right in September, right before the year started. We started working out together. We started sharing concepts and how we saw the game. Right away, I could tell that the appetite was there. 1 through 15 guys. It's very rare that you're able to get that many guys in that early. As soon as Danny, you know, signed guys, we were in, we were lifting, we was just, you know, around each other, understanding each other, you know, playing a lot. We was playing a lot. Then, fortunately, we was able to go off to Rome that year. Rome was a good distraction for us because we had to lean on one another.
To bond a little bit.
Seriously, because, you know, none of us spoke Italian. You know, if we wanted to go somewhere, we was always 3-4 deep, and no one was asking and no one was telling us to be with each other. We were just naturally being with each other so much that whenever you saw us to the restaurants, 9, 10 of us, that carried over to practice. Then we got 2 teams that are very competitive. Doc's letting us be who we want to be, and he's letting us play with passion, and our practices are over the top aggressive, and to the point where it's too competitive to where he has to come in and separates us and, you know, take the balls and cut the lights out and get us out of here. To the point where he just lets us go. Now we start bringing concepts to him. He started trusting our IQs. Now we start putting a couple of things on defense. Thibodeau's in there. He's implementing stuff. When this flow is going like this, you don't know that you're going to win it all, but you know you're on the waves of something special. Right. And that's how that felt.
And let's get your take, guys, on the scoring breakdown for Brooklyn.
With the aggression they're showing early on, I mean, they're driving it to the hoop with authority and force.
Also, guys, the passing has been terrific in the first half. They'll be happy with all those assists.
That free throw missing. Kevin, you were so successful jumping from high school to pros. What do you think about the current situation now, the age of 19, the minimum to go to the draft?
You know, I'm always be a fan of of the younger kids being able to have the opportunity. I don't like when you put parameters. I could see if college was really teaching these kids and really giving them a solid situation to be able to have something to defer to. But, you know, these kids are not learning at the rate that you would like them to learn in college. And plus, they're not staying in college to these great institutions to be able to apply some of the things they're learning. So I just think that they need...
They're basketball players.
Well, they're basketball players, but they should have the opportunity to take advantage of if you're able to play at 17, 18 like I was. Not saying that every kid's going to have that, but you have obviously the D-League. You have all these multiple leagues throughout the world and where kids go to play. You know, some kids have missed out just because of that 1 year and some mishaps. And you sit here and you can say, you know, for business is good for this. Listen, the business is what it's going to be. We need to develop and have these kids be professionals more than anything. We need to grow these kids from a skill level and an appetite level. Our game was built off of wanting to be better than the ones that's come before us. You know what I'm saying? When Lou Alcindor came in here, he was, a.k.a. obviously Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was more encouraged to beat out Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell more than anything. And then that starts to trickle down from the effect of from Jordan wanting to be better than Larry Bird and Magic to Kobe wanting to be better than, you know, it's the same thing. It's being trickled down. And when I think of greatness, I think, you know, it's going to follow. It's going to be shadows, and at some point it's going to mimic.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, guys, analytics has taken over the NBA, but Minnesota coach and president of basketball operations, Tom Thibodeau, says it doesn't tell you everything. He said analytics can measure a lot of things, but it's very difficult to measure drive. The magic is in the work. Kevin?
And Tom Thibodeau makes a good point, D.A. Analytics is certainly helpful, but it doesn't capture everything. Jimmy Butler, he's checked in for Anthony Tolliver. The free throw drops for Towns.
And guys, this is the way to stay in the game. They're doing a masterful job from the line. Perfect this quarter.
Kevin, over the years, we've seen a number of super teams develop, and in the Warriors' case, it's not the big three, it's the big four. Is this a trend you see continuing? You did it in Boston.
Man, look,
you were the original big three.
It seems like it, eh? You know, right.
You were the original big three.
You know what? It's like an innovative type of thing, right? I didn't even know that we were doing that. Right, because LeBron come back and do what? LeBron goes to
Miami. He's the big three right down there. Yeah.
And then what? Then it just starts morphing into these different things, right?
KD to Golden State.
Right. Oh, man.
What do you think of that?
I think this is pretty much the norm. You know what? Listen, I think KD took a lot of heat for it, but when you really think about what he's doing, is that, let's say 20 years from now, when he sits back and he wants to talk to Steph, he wants to talk to Draymond, he's talking to Clay. These are all going to be three greats with him. I'm just talking about those three guys. He's playing with three other greats. I'm sorry. If you had a chance to play with three other greats in the prime, Kev, you're going to do that. And if you don't, then something's wrong with you.
Brooklyn leading by 8. Outside, Russell. Screen by Fareed. And Harris wide open. He shoots. Second shot opportunity. Davis, the pass to Fareed. And it's slammed in by Fareed.
Oh, inflicting some punishment with the two-hand flush.
They're going for the throat.
Now's the time to do it. Keep attacking that rim.
And Kevin, you look at the star players joining up today. At the end of the day, it's about winning.
The game is about winning. More importantly, it's about these bonds that you're able to establish. Those guys are going to be brothers forever. Now, I get the whole OKC, him leaving, right? But this is morphing into something else, and I think that this is going to be part of the norm.
Championships.
It is, man, and that's what you're in this for. You go to build these things. I don't know if I would have done it like that, but I understand it. I get it. He's playing with three other greats that's making the game more efficient for him, and it's working. But, yes, I see this being the norm in the league.
And Minnesota has possession following the bucket by the Nets. Butler dishes to Towns. Rebounded by Fareed. Fareed's got his 4th rebound with that last one here tonight.
And a big lead for them on both the scoreboard and the backboard thus far.
Yeah, rebounding has been a big key in this one, Greg. They've asserted their will and have taken control on the glass.
Kevin, some of the relatively new rules protecting players, the breakaway, the flagrant 1, the flagrant 2. Are you in favor of all this stuff?
I'm in favor for players' health. You know, anything that is going to be detrimental to a player's health, I feel like, you know, the player's health is the first and only obligation. That's all I've ever worried about. You know, foul play, you know, I think every player should always understand it's a way to foul. It's a way to be able to, you know, send a message. But in the heat of the moment, I get it. You know, things happen. But just I hope that all players out there will continue to, you know, to care about and respect the game.
Towns, the shot misses, and Brooklyn will come the other way. This game coming after a loss against the Bucks.
Yeah, their last outing was a rough one. Have to be careful of falling in love with that 3.
And you know what, Greg, you can't afford to be a one-function offense. You know what I mean? You've got to be versatile. Got to spread it out and mix it up inside, too.
The Nets have made 7 free throws and missed 3 in this game.
Yeah, pretty good numbers on the season when you look at their free throw attempts, right around 78%.
Guys, their free throw shooting has slipped a bit since last year.
Take a break.
But not really
Two
to
shots.
the point where they should be overly concerned about it.
And the first one at the line is good. Kevin, you were always known as wanting to play and always wanting to practice. You were a gym rat. What did you do when a coach would ask you maybe to take a breather? Let's sit out this game. Let's rest up. Would you welcome that? Would you just say, I'll let you know when I can't go? Or how would you handle that situation?
You know what? I've always asked the coach to respect the way I get ready for games. I've always asked him to respect the way I approach the game. I've always asked the coach to respect me and my expertise of knowing my body. I'm very, very vocal. Listen, if one person needs rest and it's me, I know how to raise my hand. I know how to say I need some rest. But, you know, I'm a person who likes to push through a lot of things. I'm a person who understands rest, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I'm a person who understands that practice makes perfect. And if I can work on something for as long as I can to make something better, because I know at the end when I need it, especially when I used to call it dial up. When I call, I need the answer.
LeVert. A second chance effort. And Fareed lays it in. Fareed's got 6.
And they hold a huge advantage on the backboard.
Greg, and that's been the key to this league. I mean, they've really dominated the glass.
Kevin, we know how hard the players work, the elite players work the hardest. We know the coaches work so hard. Everyone in that coaching staff, everyone wants the game called right. Is an added referee something that would help the game in any way, do you think?
More eyes on it.
We got 3 right now.
Listen, that's a lot,
that
man.
Is a lot.
And we're yelling at those 3. Listen, more eyes on the prize, if you will, so be it. It's just about how the game is. You want referees to be consistent. You want referees to also let the guys play a little bit. You know, that's just my preference. I'm not a league official, nor do I know flow and momentum. I'm just talking from a fan perspective and watching it.
Yes.
But, you know, as a player, you find things to complain about because that's what a player does when it comes to advantage versus disadvantage. But fourth ref, I don't think it would hurt. To me, it would be about how they were calling it.
And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. The scoring breakdown for the Timberwolves.
And so far, these guys have done a fantastic job finding the opening man and getting some easy baskets.
Another big aspect of their game tonight has been the fast break, transition opportunities. They're really keeping it up tempo so far.
Well, the fans out there watching this, Kev, can you talk about why it's so incredibly difficult to win an NBA title, to become a champion? Why is it such a tough process?
Well, just imagine having a goal and you're not pursuing the goal by yourself. You know, say you and somebody else.
Relying on somebody else.
Relying on somebody else, okay? So let's just say you and someone are doing something, walking up a hill. Y'all getting ready to go walk up a hill. Well, the speed in which you want to walk at might be different from the other person. And what you realize about when you're trying to reach any goal is that you have to be connected. You have to be understanding of, we're going to walk up it together like at this speed, like this, or we're going fast, we're going slow. It has to be a great level of communication and understanding. At the same time, you have to have the same work ethic because you have to understand you're together. And you don't get to go at this level and leave someone behind. You have to actually, you got to pull them, you got to keep up, whatever it is. All this goes into trying to win.
It sure does. That's right. Kevin, it's been said that some guys hated to play against you. Is there someone you hated to play against for whatever reason?
No.
You enjoyed every jump?
I enjoyed every competitor because on the offensive side of the ball, I was always challenged when to use counters or what type of moves I was using. I took a lot of pride in having a variety of moves for different types of defenses. And each guy is going to bring out a different side of the offense in you. And then turning around and then being that defender and being able to guard the post player or the post or whatever the post player was or whatever. Rasheed Wallace was always a tough guard. Tim Duncan was always a tough guard. Zach Randolph was always a tough guard. Chris Webber, Dice, Karl Malone.
Great names. Wiggins kicks to Butler. Chalk up 2 there.
And now you see them starting to really work the ball inside.
The Timberwolves been at their finest form at the free throw line tonight. 8 attempts, 8 makes.
And they've had really good numbers all season from the free throw line.
That's been one of the strongest aspects of this team this season. I mean, there have been very few off nights for them at the free throw line.
And it's tied up with that one.
And Butler emerging as a leader both on and off the floor. A player who plays with great passion and goes all out for his team all the time.
Good on the shot. Dinwiddie's got his second basket.
I mean, the number of points they've scored in the paint already here is eye-opening.
The Timberwolves have been exceptional shooting free throws tonight, going 9 for 9. And that one falls for Jones. That's also good. So he hits both free throws. Brooklyn's gone 1 of 4 from three-point range in the second. Not a whole lot dropping out there for them. Napier kicks to Carroll. There's the screen. Dishes it to Dudley. We've got 1:48 left in the first half of the game. Good on the bucket. Dinwiddie's got 6.
And, you know, these are easy ones. Once you're this close, it's academic.
The Timberwolves trail. And here's Jones. He has 5. Pass to Chang. Jones, the pass to Rose. 5 to shoot. To the middle. Here's Patton. Nice hit again. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
Clearly a foul.
Yeah, he took a shot there. Earned those free throws.
This is his first free throw of the game.
Not the best statistic for him in terms of his performance at the line. Very low numbers.
And I know he's got to be upset at himself for shooting so poorly at the line. So I would think he'll be doing everything he can to bring those numbers up.
The first free throw is good. The Timberwolves making a switch here. Tolliver's checked in. That misses, so he splits the free throws.
I wonder what the score would be if they weren't controlling the backboard.
And, Greg, it's clearly been their edge, and in a close game like this, you look for every edge you can find.
Adding a lot of flavor to the mix, Kevin Garnett. Kevin, thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure. Hope you join us again sometime.
Man, Kevin, it's always a pleasure, man. It's always great to see you, man. Anytime you need me, you holler at me, all right?
Future Hall of Famer and a terrific person, Kevin Garnett. Always fun to have Kevin Garnett on the set, Clark. You can tell he was in high spirits as usual. Have to respect his continued zeal for the game.
Yeah, he's never lacked for passion or zeal. It's been part of what's made him such a great player, a Hall of Famer in the future. And I don't think that's ever going away. I mean, he's really a kid at heart, and he played the game that way, which was a pleasure to watch. And, man, it's been really cool seeing him do what he did as an NBA player and actually giving back to some of the younger guys that are coming up in the league now.
Brooklyn trailing. It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. There's the dish to Dinwiddie. Allen, a screen on Rose. Dinwiddie kicks to Allen. Over Jang. Allen passes to Napier. Goes back up. Nice jump shot. Good. Napier's got 6 points.
And when he breaks out the crossover, you can be sure he's going to leave somebody in his way.
Rose can't get that one to fall. And a pretty tightly contested game here as we end the first half. Nets out in front, up by 1. And a chance now to send it over to David Aldridge, standing by courtside. David.
Kevin, thanks. Here with Jimmy Butler. Jimmy, you have come a long way in this league. When you look at your career now versus when you came in, how different is it?
Much different. I think on the floor, I'm supposed to do a lot more on both ends of the floor. And off the floor, I think it's still the same. People recognize my hair.
Well, it is a unique style, Jimmy. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks so much, Dave, for the great interview. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back for the second half of basketball right after this.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, folks. Ernie Johnson here alongside Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith. It's Brooklyn out in front at the half. They lead by 1 point. Kenny?
Well, one place they had the edge was on the offensive boards. They converted those extra possessions into points. Nothing is more demoralizing to a defense than forcing a miss and then giving up a second attempt. The offensive glass is going to pay big dividends for them.
Shaq, what you think about Minnesota?
Well, they're getting beat up on the boards, Ernie. Woo. Smack them around, smack them around. And you know the coach is unhappy about it, because I'm unhappy about it, Ernie. I'm sure he's in the locker room right now saying, hey, we can bounce back in the second half. You need to dig deep, show some pride.
And we're just about ready for the start of the third quarter. Kevin Harlan standing by. We'll see you.
We come back to Minnesota now with a striking look at the 10th Avenue Bridge, downtown Minneapolis, off in the distance. Well, both sides have assessed what they need to do over the break in halftime. We'll see now if one can pull out away here in the third. We are seeing a tremendous game from Jimmy Butler.
And through the first 2 periods, it seemed he got to the paint whenever he wanted to, just a slasher's mentality.
Yeah, you know, good things happen when he cuts to the rim, Greg, and you cut into the heart of the defense like that, makes things easy.
Here we go now, the start of the third quarter, welcoming you back in a closely contested first half so far. The Nets with the lead.
You know, the last few seasons, the Timberwolves assembled a terrific young core. Now they're ready, I think, to take that next step forward, adding veterans like Butler, Teague, and Gibson. I think they're ready to win right now.
Teague runs the point with Butler at his side. They're the backcourt. Gibson is the 4 with Towns in the middle. And it's Wiggins in at the 3. So that's the lineup for Minnesota. For the Wolves in their breakout season that everyone was waiting for, the pressure is felt by the team It's just hard to pick out when a group of young players, Clark, is going to put it all together.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But that Western Conference about as stacked as it's ever been, Kevin. But you know what? I think the Wolves are primed and ready to be contenders.
And he makes the first. In the post, Clark, you were as polished as they come. I watched it with my own eyes and loved the way you play. Just how important, when you go back to that time, is footwork for a big man in the NBA?
Well, I think it's everything, regardless of what size you are, big or small. Fundamentally sound footwork is essential to being a solid offensive basketball player. And as a guy who played inside and out, it was something I took pride in. And I wasn't the greatest athlete, a decent athlete, so my footwork allowed me to gain an advantage against bigger guys.
Here's Towns. Second shot opportunity. It counts. And the foul. It goes on Kenneth Faried.
Come on, this is a big guy here, Towns. I mean, you got to foul him a lot harder than that to stop the shot. I mean, he's just too strong. Now he gets a chance to add one more at the line.
Well, Towns does so many things on the floor, already an elite post scorer. But, Greg, one area that he has struggled with at times is his defense against other bigs.
And I think he'll continue to improve in that area. What happens with young guys, though, is oftentimes you're improved how good I am mode when you're young, and you lose sight of some of the things that help you win games. And I think that's one reason why he had one of the worst defensive RPMs in the entire league. But young bigs tend to take a bit longer to develop into great defenders, and I expect he will follow in that line.
Davis setting the pick for Russell. Timberwolves on defense. They lead by 1. And here's Harris from the arc.
Good discipline on defense. Wiggins right on top of it the whole way.
Faried, a screen on Towns. Outside, Russell. The second chance effort, and count it. He'll head to the line with a chance to make it 3.
How about the concentration? He gets hit, but stays with the play and gets the finish.
Innovation and improvisation right there, Greg. Finding a way to get that shot to fall after taking the contact. You know, he's naturally a scoring point guard, is D'Angelo Russell. Fellow Buckeye, I might add, but I like the stride I've seen from him in creating for others. I mean, he can break you down, and he's a very gifted passer.
No good from Gibson.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
And Russell's shooting and ball handling are a great counterbalance to his passing.
Yeah, I agree with you. In today's game, you need that scoring threat from the point guard position. He can't just be a table setter. He's got to score it too. And recognizing when to score and when to set up, folks, that's the area that he has to grow in, and that happens with time and experience.
And he knocks down the first one.
And over the course of the Nets franchise history, some interesting decisions. I mean, back in the 90s, they came very close to changing the team name to the Swamp Dragons. I think I'm just going to leave that one right there.
And Harris drops them both. So, Greg, how close were the Nets to being the Swamp Dragons anyway?
Well, it needed a unanimous vote of all the teams to change it, but there was one vote against it. The Nets themselves voted against the change, and they had 7 owners who rotated voting duties, and the one on deck got cold feet.
And Gibson just out here to play hard defense, showing great awareness coming up there with that block.
The Timberwolves have gone 2 of 4 here to start the second half. Wiggins outside. He kicks it to Gibson. He feeds it to Teague. 6 on the shot clock. Over Russell. And he gets it to go, hitting off the back of the rim. Teague's got the game tied up here for Minnesota.
Hey, Teague's not a big guy, but he's not really pint-sized. Nonetheless, impressive work for the little fella to get it done inside.
All right, let's catch up with our sideline reporter, David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, Karl Anthony Towns was voted by GMs last season as the player they most want to build a franchise around. And he is not resting on his laurels. He said, "I work hard on my game. I want to be the strongest player, the most intelligent player, and the most skilled player on the court at all times." Kevin?
Thanks, David. That work ethic will definitely help Towns get better. He's already a dynamite player. Brooklyn's gone 0 of 2 from deep to start things here in the second half. Here's LeVert, defended by Butler. LeVert the pass to Russell. Out to Harris from the arc. Good, and the assist goes to Russell. Harris has got 15.
You never pass for the sake of passing. You wait until the defense commits. Russell does that, finds the open man nicely.
Now here's Wiggins. 9 points in the game so far. It's stolen by Davis. Here's Harris. The putback. He hangs in there and cashes in on the second chance points. And now a 3-point Nets lead.
Just in a perfect position to grab that rebound and then get the putback.
The Timberwolves have gone 4 of 6 from the field since the start of the third. Towns sets the pick for Teague. Feeds it to Wiggins. Here's Towns, and the Timberwolves tack on 2 more.
Perfect touch from mid-range. I mean, the subtleties of Towns' game, part of what makes him unique, his size and his skill set, and also his maturity as a young player. Very impressive.
Now here is Harris. 15 points in the game. Davis dishes to Russell. Fareed inside. Defended by Towns. The shot's good from Fareed.
Yeah, no question who's been the aggressor on the offensive glass.
Yeah, they have the advantage, a big one in second chance points. Those extra possessions really help an offense, and it demoralizes the defense.
Towns, no luck. Brooklyn leading by 3. Harris passes to LeVert. The 15-footer. Offensive rebound.
Yeah, that's got them over the limit with a lot of time still left. They're going to have to tone it down, or they may end up giving up a lot of free throws here.
And a chance to catch up on some numbers here. Scoring breakdown for the Nets.
They've been penetrating with a certain amount of ease, guys, just as much in this half as the first.
Another thing they've done tonight is work the ball into the paint for plenty of those close-range points. You got to have those.
First free throw is good. And Greg, you wouldn't expect it from a Coach Thibodeau team, but defense was an issue for the Timberwolves last year.
And the Wolves brought in Butler to help with offense, but more importantly, his defense. And Butler, familiar with what Thibs likes to do on both ends of the floor, has the leadership the team needs, particularly on the defensive end.
And the finesse and the skill from Teague to finish that play with the floater, exquisite. And good shot choice there, too.
Now, here is Russell. 6 points for him. To the inside, here's LeVert. And that one is off. Some solid defense from Butler. Towns kicks to Butler. Teague dishes to Towns. Over Russell. No good off the back of the rim. Brooklyn's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. LeVert the pass to Russell. Beyond the arc. It's rebounded by Towns. Towns has got 11 rebounds in the game.
Nothing seems to be going down for him today.
For Minnesota, they've gone 6 of 10 from the field in the third quarter. Teague against Russell. A nice shot by Teague.
Yeah, you could see how Teague was probing the defender there, seeing if he could catch him leaning and drive to the rim. Nicely done.
Russell against Teague. Outside Russell. Here's Harris. Good, and the assist goes to Russell. Russell's got 3 assists tonight.
Terrific imagination, creativity. Russell already one of the league's more intriguing playmakers.
T kicks to Towns. Lets it go from the wing. And the shot no good, a bit short.
And the defender was very apathetic there. Fortunately for them, he missed that mid-range jumper.
And it's Harris off the drive. And the rejection by Towns. There's Russell with the 3. Again, Russell missing.
Not a whole lot going down for him at this point. He just can't buy a break.
And it's Wiggins with the jam.
Nicely executed play there. The pass on target, and Wiggins with the explosive finish.
It was beautiful the first time, but Under Armour showing us the replay of that tremendous alley-oop again. Another unleash chaos moment. Now a timeout call by Brooklyn. And Clark, one thing you have to love about Towns is just how self-aware and humble he is. He's always looking to hone his game, and even when he puts up a big night, he can look at the tape and find something that he's got to improve on.
Yeah, that's admirable. His humility and his selflessness, being aware of what's going on, where he needs to get better, and that's part of why I think he's a leader on this team. He'll own his mistakes, and he also is owning his personal development and improvement. So the future's bright for this guy.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. And there it is for him.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
Jones kicks to Rose. And again, it's Minnesota converting.
Moving it around, 8 of their last 10 coming off assists.
And Greg, you know nothing makes a coach happier than selflessness on the basketball court.
Here's Napier. He's got 8. Now the feed to Dudley. Shot clock at 6. Here's Napier, and the rejection by Jang. Now here's Rose. Defense is right there. Pass to Tolliver. He dishes it to Jones. Timberwolves passing it around. Rose can't get that one to fall. Brooklyn's gone into a slump here from three-point range, shooting just 1 of 5 here in the third. Napier dishes to Carroll. Allen with the screen for Carroll. Passes it to Allen. And he's fouled pretty hard on that shot, but he's got the chance to pick up the points at the line. Clark, when you look back at all the coaching you received and all the coaches that you've covered, what allows a coach to have a team buy into what he wants to do?
I think there are a couple of things there, Kevin. One is authenticity, being who you are as a man and a coach. Whatever your personality is, whatever your hallmark pillars are as a coach, the things that you don't allow to be negotiated, staying true to that. But authenticity is huge. And then adaptability, being able to be flexible within your authenticity. Those things, to me, give you the most credibility as a coach and give you a chance to one, be enjoyable to play for and also successful.
Second free throw, no good. And the Nets adding their own G League affiliate, the Long Island Nets.
Yeah, and the Nets franchise originally, remember, based in Long Island. So nice to have that homecoming. And of course, with young talent development, so critical for this Nets organization. Having that minor league team in close proximity, very valuable.
Here is Dudley, following the score by Derrick Rose. They set the screen. Napier, that one falls, coming off Dinwiddie's feet. Napier's got 11 points. As we approach the fourth quarter, still anyone's ballgame.
Yeah, neither team able to create much of a cushion.
Jones kicks to Rose. To the right side. Outside runner. Jones, no luck. Brooklyn's gone a less than productive 2 of 6 from three-point land in the second half. Here's Allen. Here's Carroll. Kicks it to Allen. Right through the D for the layup. 7 points in the game.
Give credit where credit is due right there. A terrific assist. They need a bucket in a big way here to regain some confidence.
Zhang, a screen. Outside Rose. Turn around Jay. And he overshot that one, missing.
Tell you what, Kevin, it would be helpful if he would start to contribute a little more on offense, because when he's missing, it makes it really hard for this team.
And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And Greg, he says, thank you very much, and sails in for the flush.
And those are the kind of sequences that tell you why the score is what it is.
Here's Zhang after the basket by Brooklyn. The pass to Patton. And finished off by Zhang.
And, you know, we all know about Zhang's high motor. Defensively, you can't just let him float around the glass. You've got to get a body on it.
Here's Napier. He's got 11. Dishes it to Dinwiddie. It's Carroll on the wing. Baseline jumper. That one a tad offline to the right, but drops in for him.
And usually Carroll will stay beyond the arc. That time stepping in for the basket.
There's the pick. And it's Rose penetrating. Comes up empty off the pick.
And you can see the defenders afraid to kind of get in his way a lot of times when he's on his way to the basket. But on that one, they were there. Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync. Tremendous communication and awareness.
And so it's Minnesota with it after the basket by Brooklyn. Out to the right wing. Here's Patton. He's guarded by Dudley. Carroll against Rose. Expanding his range. That doesn't go either for Rose. 2-for-1 opportunity here if they want it.
And no doubt, Kevin, if I'm them, I go for it.
Jacks up a 3, and the Nets another 3.
And defensively, you have got to extend to their shooters. They have been on fire this half.
Well, you know, the D just hasn't been there for real. I mean, these shooters are getting any perimeter shot they want. It's a bunch of warm-up jump shots out there.
To end the run, no good on the shot. Excellent D there from Allen. Nets leading by 11. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
Yeah, and the junkyard dog just showing his aggressiveness attacking the rack.
This is his second trip to the free throw line.
And 74%, yeah, you know, so-so. He probably wouldn't mind seeing it a little bit higher.
You know, his free throw percentage has dropped this year, but not really enough to raise any red flags or become alarmed about it.
The first one falls.
That's all you, man.
Carroll hits them both. 17 seconds left to play in the third. Here is Rose. 14 points for him. Here's Zhang. Plays it up and banks it in. Zhang's got 4 points now in the quarter.
His hard work on the backboard really just has given them more opportunities to score.
And so it's the Brooklyn Nets holding on to an 11-point cushion as we get ready to take a break. Looking good at this point, but wanting more. Right back after this break. Now let's hear what Coach Tom Thibodeau was reviewing with his team in the huddle.
Keep digging, man. Keep fighting. Keep fighting. Keep fighting every loose ball. Make it hard on them. Make them hard.
And there's Tom Thibodeau focusing on the toughness and effort he'd like to see from his team.
Yeah, he wants them to just leave no stone unturned, take advantage of every opportunity, and that's going to be the roadmap to success.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. On the court for the Nets, getting the fourth quarter going. Allen is out there with Jared Dudley. Then it's Damari Carroll, and it's Napier in at the point. Jones drives in. Here's Patton. It's deflected. Allen with it. Here's Dinwiddie. Good, and it's Napier with the assist that time. Napier's got 6 assists in the game. Timberwolves trail by 14. Jones the pass to Rose. Jang dishes to Tolliver. Back to Jang. Rebounded by the Nets.
That's what we're talking about in terms of the activity level defensively. You got to protect the rim.
Mm-hmm. Textbook defense all around. Nice job at contesting the shot without fouling, and that's how you do it. Well done.
Go back to Minnesota.
Minnesota calls timeout.
And really, the first 3 or 4 seasons of his career, Damari Carroll was kind of a fringe rotation player. I think once his three-point shooting took form in Atlanta, that's when his value as a player skyrocketed.
Whole new look on the floor for Minnesota. And the Timberwolves with possession here. It's a 16-point game. And sticking right with it, gets the foul with the bucket, and he'll go to the line. And for Damari Carroll, able to hit the 3, but it all starts for him, Greg, at the defensive end.
Yeah, he can be an intimidator on that side of the ball, and with his lockdown mentality defensively, he only needs to provide complementary scoring to be a key contributor.
One shot.
Clark, you know we like to reach out to the fans and have them send in questions, so I've got one right now. Here's Alex in Ohio, of all places. He asks, what sport other than basketball are you best at?
I specialized early, Alex. I was a decent athlete, had good hands, could catch and throw a football pretty well, but didn't like the contact there. Right now, I'm actually just a good workout guy, and I'm trying to become a better than average golfer.
Two.
First one falls for him. And for this new front office in Brooklyn, such a daunting task, Clark, a pretty bare cupboard as far as players and picks. How do they do it?
Well, you got to make $1 out of 15 cents, basically, and that's a stretch. Hiring a top-flight analytics team to find hidden gems, another piece of the puzzle. A big performance staff to individualize and maximize player development. But it goes back to resources being invested in good players that will develop, and then folks to develop them.
Now here's Teague. Towns the screen. Teague kicks to Towns. Left side Gibson from 15 feet away, and Davis pulls it down. Davis has got rebound number 11 for him here tonight. Russell dishes to Fareed, and Fareed throws it down. And he's now got the double-double, 10 points and 11 rebounds.
And guys, he's not an easy man to stop when he's got the rim in his sights.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
And guys, I like the fact that he chose the one-hand tomahawk slam because you get a little higher when you go off one hand and 1 foot.
Now, here is Russell. Davis, the pass to Russell, over Teague, and Russell gets it to go on the assist by Davis. Davis has got 3 assists now in this one. Teague against Russell. Teague kicks to Butler. The kick out to Teague. The Timberwolves again can't hit. And here are the Nets. They're on an 11-3 run. And here's Harris from the arc. Wiggins with the block.
Great read that time by Wiggins, anticipating the shot. Sends it out with return to sender postage.
Here's LeVert. Screened by Russell. LeVert the pass to Russell.
And, you know, it hasn't been his night, but his team still leads, so that's encouraging.
That's a 2 from Butler. Here's Towns. No good on that one. Some solid defense from Fareed. LeVert the pass to Russell. Here's LeVert. Fires from deep. Good, and the assist goes to Russell. Russell's got his 5th assist in this one.
LeVert showing you can rise up from deep. A quality shooter when given room to fire.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Butler kicks to Wiggins. Towns a screen on Harris. Here's Gibson. Loses the defender with the screen and drills the jumper.
Staying alert and aware. Wiggins sees his man flash to an open spot. Pass is right on the money.
Pass to LeVert. On the wing, Davis. The dish to Russell. Davis sets a screen. Here's LeVert. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. And you look at Karis LeVert, 6'7", about 200 pounds. Clark, what's his best position?
I think he's just a player. Combo guard is probably what you would categorize him as. He can handle it. He can pass. He's slim, but I think he can play some small forward too. I mean, this is a guy that I think could be comfortable at 1, 2, or 3 as he continues to develop.
That free throw missing. And Clark, we've heard the term empty stats for players that put up big numbers but didn't impact the game to the same level of those numbers. What do you think about empty stats?
I'm mixed on empty stats. Clearly some stats impact winning more than others, but in this day of analytics, some of the stats that apparently document impact in winning may be overdone as well. Statistics are statistics. They're part of the game, and you evaluate them in the context of a number of variables. So they're here to stay. Empty is probably too strong because they're part of the game.
Yep, that one goes in there.
Just churning that butter up, man, all night. Towns making a fool out of anybody trying to get in his way. Go to work, big fella.
Fareed a screen on Teague. An easy layup after coming off the pick. That's 12 points for Kenneth Fareed.
Well, I tell you what, I like the clip he's shooting at. Extremely effective. If you're on defense now, you got to get the ball out of his hands.
Teague kicks to Gibson. Nice ball movement by Minnesota. Shoots from the baseline. Here's Wiggins, and a good offensive board, and he gets the bucket.
Boy, I tell you what, that 7-foot condor-like wingspan of Wiggins helps him get to the miss and convert it into points.
Now, here is Russell. Harris outside. Davis setting the pick for Harris. Here's Fareed, and it's slammed in by Fareed.
Good ball movement, wonderful pass. Couldn't have drawn it up any better.
Timberwolves trail by 21. Outside Butler. Clark, when you played, you were the classic power forward. Forwards now are asked to do so much in terms of skill set on the floor. Just how much has that forward position changed in the last few decades?
You know, in some ways, Kevin, it's become a little more specialized. I mean, you have wing players now that fall into that small forward category. But guys between 6'6" and 6'10" now are playing on the wing, which means you've got to be able to move your feet and defend. Versatile players at that position. You've got to be able to handle the ball and make plays ideally, get shots, score the ball, and rebound effectively. So that's always been, I thought, the 2 and 3 positions, which are wings now. Those positions are the most demanding in the league in terms of both sides of the ball. The power forward position has become somewhat like that now because of the size and versatility and skill set of so many of those bigger players. But I think the demands are pretty much the same. The one thing that changed is the fact that you have to play out on the floor more and in space, which means you've got to be a little more athletic if you're going to be part of a small ball lineup.
Now here's Teague following the miss by Kenneth Fareed. Clock at 6. Teague against Russell. Teague can't hit.
Boy, he's got a great stroke. That one almost dropped.
Shoots from 12. Outside for Davis. Back to Russell. At the elbow, it's Harris. And stolen by Jeff Teague. In the corner, it's Wiggins. Towns the screen. Over Fareed. And it's off the back rim. No good. Brooklyn leading by 19. Here's LeVert. The 10-footer. Good, and it's Russell picking up the assist. Russell's got his 7th assist here tonight.
That's their 3rd straight make off an assist.
Fareed against Towns. He kicks it to Wiggins. Towns a screen on Harris. Here's Wiggins. Here's Gibson. And 2 free throws coming up. Unable to get that one to go with all the contact. It goes on Ed Davis.
And they've shown a little extra hustle on the offensive glass here in the second half. Second chance points are starting to add up for them, and they can use every one of them.
Two shots.
No good on the free throw.
I love the complementary aspect of this group now. You know, you've got the young talent, but you've brought in some veteran leadership here for the Timberwolves. The duo of Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns kind of gave the confidence to them to go out and acquire a superstar in his prime like Jimmy Butler.
And the second free throw, good. And Greg, the core of this Timberwolves team is Wiggins and Towns. And, you know, rarely do you get to see 2 #1 overall picks team up early in their careers.
And how about back-to-back years, no less. But I consider Jimmy Butler kind of a foundational piece as well. He's in the conversation for the best shooting guard in our league.
Now here's Fareed. And here's Harris from the arc. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
He's putting on a commanding performance here. He's hit 2 3-pointers in each half now.
They've been looking out of sync offensively.
Yeah, their offense has ground to a standstill.
Fareed against Towns. Over Fareed. Kept alive.
And how many extra possessions have they gotten because of that rebounding edge?
Well, it's been a bunch, and I think it's made the difference in the game. I mean, they've actually done a great job on the board.
Just increasing their advantage, and right now they're in a zone on both ends.
Yeah, you know, it's got to be terribly deflating for the opposition. Boy, they look helpless, really getting beat up physically and emotionally.
Here's Butler following the basket by Kenneth Fareed, and once again off the mark by Minnesota. Outside Russell, and the shot goes down. Russell's got 4 points this quarter.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Butler sets a screen for Teague. He feeds it to Towns. Towns, a screen on Russell. To the middle, shot to stop the run, and Towns lays it in. Towns has got 12 points here in the second half. Brooklyn's gone 3 of 5 from beyond the arc since the final quarter's gotten underway. Fareed, a screen on Teague. Here's Russell. Davis in the corner. Back to Russell. The three, and that one falls, coming off of Davis's feed. And that's 13 points for D'Angelo Russell.
Showing good form on the shot. Quick release, D'Angelo, lethal from deep.
Feeds it to Wiggins. Towns, a screen on Harris. Here's Wiggins. The putback. It's good on the putback.
Oh, big time putback there. What a great motor on this guy.
There is no one who goes after those rebounds harder.
And night in and night out, that's what he provides.
Now, here is Russell. Davis kicks to Fareed. Out to Harris. Nice ball movement by Brooklyn. But they recover it.
And I just love how he's banging down low. His hard work will let them use some more of the clock here. And as we head to the final buzzer here, a crushing blowout. Big-time dominance, and this will go in the record books as a gaudy win for the Nets.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And so they'll stretch their victory total to 19 on the season.
Important. With this win, they split the season series at a game apiece and also avoid the sweep, and that has to be a relief.
And Greg, you know, as interconference opponents, tonight was their only chance to get that revenge. I mean, they won't see each other in the regular season again until next season.
And a great team effort tonight, helped in large part with contributions, and the nice night it ended up being for Kenneth Fareed.
Now, he was a problem on the glass today, relentlessly crashing the boards and came away with a bushel basket full of rebounds.
That one falls, so he hits both of them. And Clark, we know that players are evaluated in a historical perspective, largely by how many rings they have. Do you think that's a fair way to evaluate things?
I don't think you can solely evaluate an individual player in a team sport by the number of rings he's been able to win. Clearly, it can be part of the criteria, especially if you're talking about great players who have had similar careers. It can be a differentiator. But to me, it doesn't necessarily carry the weight that some people like to give it in evaluating players. Individual performance over time is what, to me, marks the hallmark of a player worthy of Hall of Fame consideration or being talked about being one of the greats in the game.
Oh, and a nice job of turning that miss into 2 points on the tip in.
Hustle points, I believe they call them. Hustle points right there.
And great instincts, too, guys, anticipating where the miss was going.
And how much longer are they going to keep that foot on the accelerator?
As long as required, Greg. I mean, you can tell they want to put this thing to bed.
How about the screen that frees him up, though, for the jumper?
Brooklyn in control. 3 seconds separate the shot clock and game clock. Russell kicks to AC, and it's Carroll in the corner. And there's the feed to AC, pass to Dudley. From deep, rebound by Rose. Here's Patton. And so it's Brooklyn easily grabbing this one. To come into an opponent's building and dominate the way they did tonight says, I think, Greg, an awful lot about this team.
I guess they don't need home cooking to feel at home. I mean, Kevin, just a masterful performance all the way around.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thank you very much with Kenneth Fareed. What was the key tonight?
Just keep attacking and keep playing strong. And, you know, my teammates, they believe in me. Just re-lock in and get focused and play my game.
Great team win tonight, Kenneth. Thanks for your time. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. And that'll wrap it up, folks. For David Aldridge, Greg Anthony, and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for being with us. So long.